at a Taiwan fishing boat after a threatened collision. Expats looking for local jobs say they are facing a tough employment market. And the body of the dead Boston Marathon bomb suspect is secretly buried in Virginia. Good evening and welcome to this weekend edition of Shanghai Live, and I'm your host, Zhang Jieying. The body of the Taiwanese fisherman killed in a shooting incident at sea has arrived in Taiwan. The other crew members survived the shooting uninjured. The Philippines Coast Guard has admitted the killing, but said it fired in self-defense. The body of the 65-year-old Hong Shichen returned home alone with his fishing boat, Guangdaxing 28, early this morning. Police conducting an onboard investigation say they found at least 3 bullet holes and marks at the stern of the boat. The victim's body is undergoing an autopsy. The Philippines Coast Guard said yesterday it was forced to open fire at the fishing boat's engine after the boat refused inspection and tried to ram the patrol ship. And it said it has launched an investigation into the incident and suspended all of the people involved. The shooting happened Thursday about 160 nautical miles northeast of Taiwan. The off-and-on rain that we have had for several days in Shanghai finally stopped this morning, but our sunny weekend started with a thick haze covering the city, thanks to pollution from the north. Zhou Jie has more.
The city was covered in a grey blanket this morning and visibility was down to as little as 100 meters in some areas. The Shanghai Meteorological Bureau issued a yellow fog warning at about 6:30. However, the fog burned off as the sun came out and warmed the air. The Bureau cancelled the warning at about 8:30, but said the concentration of PM 2.5 particles in the air was rising. The air quality index reached 210, which is considered very unhealthy.
This morning, Shanghai is under control of a subtropical high, and the pressure field is average, so the wind is not very strong. It is not good for atmospheric dispersion.
And with the end of the rain, the temperature is climbing. Today's high reached 29 degrees. Forecasters expect it may top 30 degrees tomorrow and say stronger winds should improve the air quality. Shanghai Live.
As we have reported in the past, this year is expected to be an especially difficult one for university graduates looking for their first jobs. And some of the expats who attended a job fair at the Shanghai Center today say it's not easy for them to find work as well. Our reporter Zhang Jun has more.
One French job seeker sums it all up on her business card. She says she's been looking for a job in sales or logistics for 3 months.
The situation is difficult, I think, because there are some offers, but you reply and the companies don't reply back, so it's quite difficult.
And an Indian woman who says she has 14 years experience in human resource work has been job hunting even longer.
So it's been a year and a half that I've been looking out for a suitable opportunity.
And you're still looking for?
Still looking, yes.
Why?
Why? Because I want to work.
They are 2 of hundreds of people who showed up at today's job fair. About a quarter of the 38 companies recruiting at the fair are either in the language teaching business or provide other educational services. And both they and the fair organizer told ICS they were pleased with the turnout.
I would say that based on my previous experience, this particular fair has been one of the biggest that I've seen. Personally, I haven't been working with the recruiting team that long, but I would say that this is definitely one of our most exciting events so far.
We had over 2,000 people that pre-registered, and that far exceeded our expectations, so we're very happy with the number.
An executive with a state-run HR company says a major reason for the increase in foreign job hunters is the changing nature of expat jobs.
职位上来说，在若干年前，10年前，他们有
About a decade ago, more than 60% of local foreign professionals were high-ranking executives. Now the situation is reversed. 60% of expat professionals are middle or lower level staff in local companies.
就已经是偏向中低端的岗位。
Zhou says the current economic downturn could have a greater effect on foreigners looking for lower-end jobs because demand for higher-level high-tech and financial jobs is more stable and consistent. Shanghai is now home to more than 170,000 foreign residents, but they still make up less than 1% of the population. Zhang Jun, Shanghai Live.
Last night's ninth round of the Chinese Super League pitted host Shanghai Shenhua against Guangzhou Evergrande at Shanghai's Hongkou Stadium. Both teams were undefeated going into the match, but no more. Zhang Qing has the highlights.
The match was more than just a meeting of two undefeated teams. Shanghai Shenhua had survived 5 matches before last night, including a comeback in Wuhan last week from 0-3 to a 3-3 draw. And the visitors have had strong second-half performances this season, scoring most of their goals and securing the win after the break. So many people were saying the match would show how strong Guangzhou could be in the second half and whether Shenhua could win or at least tie even if the visitors scored first. More than 23,000 people were watching, enough to almost fill up available seats at Hongkou Stadium. The attendance was the highest there in recent years. Shenhua took the initiative at the beginning, and although it dominated the first 45 minutes, the half ended with no score. Afterward, Shenhua's coach Sergio Batista said that he had wanted to build up the advantage before the break, but his players had wasted too many opportunities.
I'm so angry because we played just a good first half. We had a lot of chances, but we didn't score. I was hoping that we could have at least scored twice in the first half because you could see how many chances we had.
Guangzhou's coach, World Cup winner Marcello Lippi, said that the first half was not a good experience for his team.
We were really struggling in the first half, and we had a lot of pressure. We played with great difficulty because Shenhua was torturing us. We almost went behind.
But the two-time Super League champions were true to their nickname of Team Second Half. Former Shenhua player Gao Lin struck twice and Zhang Lingpeng scored once to give Evergrande a 3-0 win and kick its unbeaten record. It was Shenhua's first defeat of the season. Shenhua will go to Nanjing to play Jiangsu Santi next Saturday. Zhang Qing, Shanghai Live.
And now let's take a quick look at some international news, including Pakistan's general election and a U.S. aircraft carrier visiting South Korea. First results are expected in a few hours from Pakistan's general election today. Millions of people are choosing a new government to deal with the country's economic and political problems for the next 5 years. Several terrorist attacks ahead of the vote killed more than 130 people, including 3 candidates, and shut down 4 polling stations. Polls indicate no single party in Pakistan is likely to win a parliamentary majority. The nuclear-powered U.S. aircraft carrier Nimitz is in the South Korean port city of Busan for a joint naval drill. At 97,000 tons, the Nimitz is one of the world's largest warships. It leads a strike group that includes guided missile cruisers, destroyers, and fighter jets. More than 30 South Koreans held a protest rally in Busan against the vessel's arrival, and North Korea's official news agency says the country's troops have been ordered to strike back if their territorial waters are violated. Boston Marathon bomb suspect Tamerlan Tsarnaev, whom police killed in a firefight days after the bombing, has been buried in an unmarked grave at a Muslim cemetery nearly 1,000 kilometers away in rural Virginia. Cemeteries in the Boston area had been unwilling to accept the body, but Tsarnaev's uncle said an interfaith group in Virginia made the arrangements. Officials in Virginia say they hadn't been informed in advance about the burial and are checking to see that all laws were followed. If not, they could try to have the body moved elsewhere. 2 astronauts are to spend the next 6 hours or so outside the orbiting International Space Station dealing with an ammonia leak in the power cooling system. The leak was discovered Thursday when they spotted what looked like snowflakes of ammonia floating away from the station. Officials emphasized that the crew is not in danger and the station still has plenty of power, even though the leak forced NASA to shut off the power from one of 8 solar panels that supply electricity to the station. The former spokesman for South Korea's president is denying reports that he sexually molested a Korean-American woman while on a visit to the United States earlier this week with his boss. Mark Leff has the details.
President Park Geun-hye fired 56-year-old Yoon Chang-jong after Washington, D.C. police got a complaint that Yoon grabbed the buttocks of a 21-year-old South Korean embassy intern at a hotel on Tuesday night. Yoon told reporters he was trying to console her after scolding her several times for things like not having his vehicle ready on time. He said he was trying to cheer her up, not sexually abuse her.
From the beginning, I had no sexual intention towards that guy. I tapped once on her waist and just told her to do well in the future, live life to the full in the United States, and become successful. That was all.
He said that he spent about 30 minutes drinking with the Korean-American woman and their driver at a hotel bar, and said he may take legal action against media outlets that carried inaccurate reports about what happened. But he did apologize to the intern, and also apologized for, as he put it, causing harm to the accomplishments of the successful U.S. visit. Mark Leff, Shanghai Live.
And that's all for today's edition of Shanghai Live. Have a great weekend. Bye for now.